The final escape from the military facility is both a victory and a harrowing ordeal. The explosion triggered by Marko's sacrifice destroys the stronghold and its horde of infected, giving Milena a chance to escape. With the infant in her arms, she pilots the stolen helicopter through the smoke-filled skies, her mind racing with grief and determination. As she flies over the quarantine zone, the full scale of the devastation comes into view. Burning cities, roving hordes of undead, and desperate survivors fighting losing battles. She realizes the virus has likely already breached containment. Her sense of hope is fleeting, replaced by the dawning realization that Marko's sacrifice may have only delayed the inevitable. Milena lands the helicopter on a barren stretch of countryside just outside the quarantine zone. The area is eerily quiet, devoid of life. She assumes that the region has been evacuated but finds unsettling signs of the virus's spread. Abandoned vehicles, bloodstains, and claw marks on doors. As she moves cautiously through the area, she encounters a radio transmission coming from a nearby town. The voice urges any survivors to gather at a makeshift refuge. Milena hesitates, torn between staying hidden for the infant's safety and seeking help. Her choice to proceed reveals her lingering humanity. She cannot abandon others despite the risks. Arriving at the refuge, Milena finds a small, tense community of survivors. The group is led by Father Jovan, a former priest turned pragmatic leader, and Dmitri, a former journalist who has been documenting the collapse of civilization. While the survivors initially welcome Milena, tension arises when they notice the baby. Fearing the infant might be infected, they demand Milena leave or surrender the child for testing. Father Jovan tries to mediate, but Milena refuses to let the baby out of her sight. Dmitri takes an interest in Milena's story and the data she carries, believing it could hold the key to humanity's survival. He warns her that the quarantine zone was only the beginning and that governments worldwide are struggling to contain outbreaks. Over the next few days, Milena witnesses the unraveling of society in the refuge. Paranoia grows as more survivors arrive, bringing stories of infected swarms overwhelming nearby towns. Accusations of infection spark violent conflicts, forcing Father Jovan to impose draconian rules. Milena struggles with the burden of her survival. Marko's sacrifice haunts her, and she questions whether she can protect the baby in a world spiraling into chaos. Dmitri deciphers fragments of Milena's data, revealing horrifying implications. The virus is not only spreading faster than anticipated but is mutating in ways the military never predicted. The refuge is eventually overrun by a sudden swarm of infected, led by a mutated hunter. In the chaos, Milena is forced to flee again, this time alone. Father Jovan sacrifices himself to buy her time, and Dmitri gives her a portable drive with the decoded data, urging her to find someone who can use it to stop the virus. Milena escapes into the wilderness, clutching the baby and the drive. She follows Dmitri's instructions, heading toward an old research facility rumored to have been working on a cure before the outbreak. Milena's journey is fraught with silence and dread. The countryside grows eerier, with more signs of infection spreading, animals exhibiting violent behavior, blood-soaked towns devoid of life, and distant plumes of smoke marking destroyed settlements. She eventually reaches a hill overlooking the sprawling ruins of a major city. What she sees chills her to the core. The city is teeming with infected, but among them are signs of coordination and strange rituals, as if the virus itself is evolving towards something sentient. Military drones circle overhead, broadcasting warnings but offering no aid. Milena cradles the baby, unsure whether there's any safe place left in the world. She resolves to continue forward but knows she is walking into an uncertain fate. The chapter includes flashbacks of Marko's final words and actions, highlighting his belief that even small victories matter. These memories fuel Milena's determination, but they also leave her questioning whether hope is a delusion in a world so far gone. As she looks at the baby, she recalls Marko's insistence that the child represents the possibility of a new beginning. Whether or not that belief is true, Milena knows she cannot stop fighting. The story concludes with Milena entering the abandoned research facility, her silhouette framed against a blood-red sunset. She disappears into the darkness, the faint cries of the infant echoing as the scene fades. The final shot pans out to reveal infected swarming toward the facility, suggesting that Milena's fight is far from over. In a post-credits scene, a surviving military officer in an undisclosed location monitors the spread of the virus. On his screen, maps show outbreaks on every continent, marked in red. He mutters grimly, "Containment has failed. This isn't the end, it's the beginning."